Well, guys, if you ask the typical American why our borders have remained open, have been allowed to remain open, and our federal government has allowed tens of millions of people to come through those open borders, unvetted and unchecked, most Americans would say it's because of the Democrats importing new Democratic voters. They are doing this because they want to keep Donald Trump out of the White House. However, it goes much deeper than that. No doubt, these people will be used for new Democratic voters because it's there and it's so easy for them to do. And that will happen. However, that isn't the reason that these borders have remained open. That isn't the reason that we've had tens of millions of people come through unchecked from all over the world into the United States. It goes much deeper than that. If it was all about Donald Trump and voting, it wouldn't be happening in other nations around the world. If you look at what's happening in the United Kingdom, what's happening in Europe, pretty much all together, what's happening in Ireland, if you look at these other countries, they're doing the same thing. They're flooding these other countries just like they're doing here in the United States. So if it was about Donald Trump and it was about voting in elections, it'd just be here in the United States. So the fact that these people are being let in to all these Western nations shows that it's a much wider plan, it's a much broader plan that they're implementing and putting in place, and it's all about destabilization. It's about changing these different countries dramatically. That's the plan. It's obvious. It is a worldwide plan to import all these people from all these different third world countries into these other countries like United Kingdom, Britain, Ireland, United States, Canada. So it's not just about votes. But we're going to focus here in the United States on one of the big reasons I think that they're allowing this to happen, because these people are going to be the new enforcers, in my opinion. If you look at what's being said, what's being done, it becomes pretty obvious. But let's look at a few videos here and look at a few news articles and put all this, what I'm trying to say here, together. Well, folks, this guy here in this video, this guy here in the blue shirt, Chicago Cubs, World Series champions, he is talking about that they have to retain control of the military to defeat conservatives, to defeat Republicans, to defeat anyone that believes in the Constitution, anyone that doesn't want to go communist. And if you look at what he's saying here, and if you look at what the some of the Democrat politicians have said about making these illegals that are coming across, putting these people into the military to fast-track their citizenship, then it kind of shows how those two things tie together. But let's take a listen to what this communist here has to say.
See, now that Kamala Harris is running for president, some people have
Kamala, not Kamala, Kamala.
Kamala. Some people have questioned what makes Kamala qualified to become president, and what makes her qualified to become the next president. Okay,
number one is she's not Trump. Number two is that she's been voted in many different positions. She served as a attorney general. She served as a prosecutor. She served as vice president.
Do you think it was planned for Joe Biden to get sick and then get replaced with Kamala?
I think, no, I don't think. Kamala, not Kamala. I don't necessarily think that they planned it, but I think they realized that he's got to be the president in this. It's tough. It's tough. So when the Republicans try to steal the election, which they will, because guaranteed will win the popular vote by at least 30 million, they'll try to steal it with the Electoral College. We have to have the presidential right to call executive order. We must retain the military, because when we win, there will be a civil war, and we need the military on our side, and then we will destroy the red state National Guards like Texas. I'd love to see the military go in there after we win, wipe out the Texas National Guard, and take Abbott and throw him in the Rio Grande and watch him drown in that chair of his. I'm ready for the Civil War, okay? And like I said, we must have control of the military. We'll crush them, and we move this country forward.
What will a Civil War look like?
It's going to be more like a guerrilla war, okay? So it's going to be tough.
Like
this is what I picture.
The Republicans probably have the majority of the guns here in America.
Okay, it doesn't matter. You can only shoot one gun. If we have to, you don't need a gun. The military will win. Whichever side the military is on will win. Okay? So I've never even touched a gun. But I'll go out there and fight.
Do you think the military would back somebody who left Afghanistan and left billions of dollars of equipment?
Yes, I am. Basically, in my dream world, I'm a communist.
Well, guys, there is that. This guy comes out and says he's a communist, and that is actually what the vast majority of the Democrat Party actually is. They're actually communist masquerading behind being a Democrat. And like he talks about, they got to retain control of the military. And as you know, they have been trying to purge the military of conservatives for a long time now. They're making the military more woke, and they're talking about making these illegals coming across, putting those people into the military and fast-tracking their citizenship. So put those two things together and you start to see, a plan that is forming. So guys, here's one article, but there's literally thousands of articles talking about this online. Just do a search and hundreds will pop up in your search results. But this is from American Military News. U.S. military should recruit more non-citizens, including illegal immigrants, U.S. Senator says with new bill. And I agree with this dog right here, the way he's looking. U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth, Democrat, is spearheading an initiative to address recruitment shortfalls within the U.S. military by expanding the eligibility for non-citizens to serve. Think about that for a minute, guys. Non-citizens to serve. The gap between recruitment goals and enlistment numbers has been steadily widening in recent years. Current statistics suggest that a mere 24 to 27% of young people ages 18 to 24 qualify for service, with even fewer expressing a desire to serve. And we know this has been a problem for a while, but if you look at this of what it actually is, 24 to 27% of young people ages 18 to 24 don't qualify for military service because health issues, overweight, mental issues, all kinds of things that would keep them from qualifying. So they're saying that's the excuse to bring in all these illegals and putting these illegals into the military. But we know that's not actually what that it actually is. Christian Science Monitor. Citizenship Fast Track. U.S. military entices immigrants to sign up. To counter recruiting shortfalls, the United States military is enlisting immigrants by offering them a fast track to American citizenship. Now guys, this next video is extremely important, so pay close attention to what is being said here in this video.
Well, we have a saying on this show that conspiracy theories are just 6-month spoiler alerts for what's to come. And there's no shame in raising these questions. So here's one for you. With over 30 million, upwards of 43 million illegal immigrants that have poured across the border during Biden's presidency. And the federal government is building massive facilities that can sleep tens of thousands of individuals all across the country. You probably haven't heard about these large facilities, have you? Well, why are they being built? Who are they for? We might finally have an answer. Listen.
It's not for these illegals, especially let's go off the numbers that they're telling us that there really are. They're saying, 11 million? In reality, I can tell you right now, with talking to all of the agents that I've talked to, private sector, looking at the cameras and all the real data, we're over 30 plus million who've actually entered this country.
Yep.
And so even with that, even though that's enough to replace about 36 states' population, why would they need to continue to do that if they're trying to absorb these guys, make them productive members of our society, get them into housing, because we know that there are already housing projects being coordinated with builders, again with our money. I believe it's to kind of like what Nazis did with the Jews, concentration camps, processing facilities. They're going to need somewhere to process the dissidents.
So guys, in my opinion, they have left the borders open and allowed all these people to come into the United States, these tens of millions of people from all over the world to come into the United States, because they know it's going to destabilize, completely destabilize, going to cause chaos. But they've also wanting to bring these people into the United States military to build their forces up. And no doubt when martial law is declared, we will have a lot of these people already in the military. However, a lot more of these people would volunteer in a domestic police force to police the American people. So if you look at what martial law actually is and the things they have already in place to allow them to take total control, suspension of the Constitution, everything. We'll talk about that here in a minute in this other article here I'm going to look at. And this is from the Brennan Center for Justice. My monitor's wide, so sometimes I can't get the whole website in this framework for this camera, this screen capturing software. Presidential Emergency Action Documents. Presidential Emergency Action Documents, PEDs, are executive orders, proclamations, and messages to Congress that are prepared in anticipation of a range of emergency scenarios. The continuity of government, or in this case, the overthrow of a current system to implement another system. In my opinion, Presidential Emergency Action Documents, PEDs, are executive orders, proclamations, and messages to Congress that are prepared in anticipation of a range of emergency scenarios so that they are ready to sign and put into effect the moment one of these scenarios comes to pass. First created during the Eisenhower administration as part of the contingency of government plans in case of a nuclear attack, PEDs have since been expanded for use in other emergency situations. In other emergency situations where the normal operation of government is impaired. As one recent government document describes them, they are designed to implement extraordinary presidential authority in response to extraordinary situations. PEDs are classified secret, and no PED has ever been declassified or leaked. Indeed, it appears that they are not even subject to congressional oversight, although the law requires the executive branch to report even the most sensitive covert military and intelligence operations to at least some members of Congress. There is no such disclosure required for PEDs, and no evidence that the document has ever been shared with relevant congressional committees. Although PEDs themselves remain a well-kept secret, over the years a number of unclassified or declassified documents have become available that discuss these PEDs. Through these documents, we know that there are 56 PEDs in effect as of 2017, much more than that now, no doubt, up from 48 a couple of decades earlier. PEDs undergo revision. Although we do not know what PEDs contain today, we know that PEDs, that's getting difficult to say after a while, in past years authorized the detention of alien enemies, and other dangerous persons within the United States. Let's look at that one again. Authorized detention of alien enemies and other dangerous persons within the United States. So who declares who is a dangerous person in the United States? The government, of course. Suspended the habeas corpus by presidential order. Provided for various forms of martial law. Issued a general warrant permitting search and seizure of persons and property. Let's read that again. Issued a general warrant permitting search and seizure of persons and property. I mean, they can seize people, detention camps, like it said up here, within the United States, authorized detention. And they can seize persons and the people's property. Establish military areas such as those created during World War II. Suspend production of the Federal Register, declare a state of war, and authorize censorship of news reports. So pretty much full-blown dictatorship, the power in one person's hands or a small group of people over the United States. They can put you in detention camps, they can arrest you, search you, do what they want to you, and the Constitution doesn't matter anymore. They can take your property, they can take your home, they can do whatever they want to, whenever they want to, whenever martial law is declared. They have everything all ready to go on the books, just like 9/11, and we saw after 9/11 happened, they took more freedom, they took more rights. They put in this spy state we have going on right now. It's just been expanded. And this shows that they have things ready to go to take full, total power, full, total control over the United States, suspend constitutional rights, states' rights, everything. And in my opinion, all these millions of military-aged males that's coming across the United States are being let in for this purpose, to enforce this when this happens. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Something to think about, guys.